Yeah, welcome everyone. I hand over the proceeding to Tarunji.
Thank you, Vivekji, our convener of ACI Chartered Accountant Study Circle. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to start the program today and introduce our learned speaker. Before I start, I will request everyone to rise for our ICAI motto song, please. I'm just doing screen sharing.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैत 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 एतद्द्वैत.
Thank you. Friends, today we have assembled on this virtual platform to discuss very important topics with respect to income tax. The first topic that we will discuss today is practical issues in income tax, and this will be deliberated by our very own CA Pramod Jain ji from New Delhi, who has kindly consented to be a part of today's session. Sir's session will be from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Then we will be joined by our very own, again from Calcutta, CA Ayush Goel ji, who will discuss about the recent issues in income tax, and I think specifically on some tax audit issues, practical issues in tax audit. So Ayush ji's session will be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Before I formally hand it over to our first learned speaker, let me just give a small introduction about him. We all know CA Pramod Jain, and he has been a very regular speaker on our ACAE Chartered Accountants platform. But just as a formal introduction, sir is a commerce graduate from Shri Ram College of Commerce. Sir is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Institute of Company Secretaries of India, Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Sir is also a bachelor in law, LLB, and is also a qualified information system auditor. Sir, I will, with your permission, skip some of the points in your CV. Sir is elected as Central Council member of our institute for the period 2019 to 22, and again has been re-elected for 22 to 25. Sir, please accept our congratulations for the re-election, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And apart from being a member in more than 25 committees, groups, directorates of ICAI, sir was also chairman and vice chairman of many other committees. Sir, I'm just skipping. Sir is a senior partner of Messrs. Lunawat and Company Chartered Accountants. He is a founder and president and convener of various boards, directorates, and committees of study circles of our ICAI. Sir is also an author and has authored many books. He has written various articles on taxation, company law, and audit in various journals. He has a vast experience in income tax, audit, corporate laws, and LLP. With these words, sir, I now hand it over to you to take over the proceedings, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tarunji. Thanks a lot. And the convener and the convener of ACAE Chartered Accountant Study Circle of EIRC of ICI, Vivek Agarwal ji and others, and also the elected members of EIRC, if I talk about, and the Central Council members elected from the Eastern region. Congratulations to each and everyone. I recently visited Kolkata during the International Students Conference organized at ITC in Kolkata, and had a pleasure in meeting many of our elected representatives and members and students. And it was a real pleasure to meet each and everyone. I really thank each and everyone. And I thank ACAE for inviting me to share my views. Before I start my deliberation on the practical aspects of the tax audit, because I had shared this my views on the tax audit earlier also with ACAE, and that was nearly around, I would say, in the beginning, in the first quarter of this year, nearly June 2021, I remember, as far as I remember. But now going further, there could be certain doubts in some of our members' mind. So if you have any thought process, any question, any issue, whether related to tax audit, whether related to profession, whether related to any other thing, so if you want, you can just share your views or ask me a question, put that in the chat box, I'll see and respond. If any of your question is there on any of the issues which I can try and address, I would be happy to address. So agar aapka koi bhi issue hai, so you can just put that in the chat box. I'll wait for a few seconds. If any issue you post on the chat box which you want me to answer, I'll be very happy to answer. Because I've been special love for Kolkata. So ek hi baat hai, I'm there for you anytime. So any issues, you can just share your views. Koi bhi aapka issue hai, before we go to the exact topic which has been assigned to me. Anything coming to your mind? Anyone? चलिए, लगता नहीं किसी के पास अभी कोई भी ऐसा इशू है, हालांकि रहता है लोगों के माइंड में एट द टाइम ऑफ इलेक्शंस अदरवाइज, बट जब इलेक्शंस खत्म हो जाते हैं तो शायद सारे के सारे इश्यूज भी खत्म हो जाते हैं. दैट्स ग्रेट, दैट्स रियली गुड. सो नाउ let me go straight to the topic, and as is my habit, I'll be asking certain questions, and I'll request you to please answer that in the chat box, because let us make it more interactive. Though we are on a virtual mode, yet we can make it interactive with the help of each other. So when I'll ask a question, you please respond on the chat box and we'll go accordingly, right? So I'm sharing my presentation and let's go ahead. Is my screen visible? ये स्क्रीन नजर आ रही है क्या? कोई अगर आंसर कर सके तो. हेलो. हाँ फिर हेलो. हम अभी सेमिनार में हैं 4 से 6. Yes, okay, great. Chaliye, what do we mean by tax audit? What do we mean by tax audit? Generally, what we feel that when we talk about 3CD, that is a tax audit. But in fact, any audit done under income tax is a tax audit. whether it is under 1023C, 12A, 10A, 80IA, IB, IC, ID, JAA, any audit, transfer pricing, 29B, 29C. So these all, any audit done under the Income Tax Act is a tax audit. But when in 1984, this 3CD, 3CA, 3CB were introduced. So at that time, guidance note on tax audit was issued by ICI. And since then, we have been normally knowing that any audit done under income tax under section 44AB, we are talking it as a tax audit. And yes, today what we will be discussing is audit done under section 44AB itself. And friends, if we talk about our audit, then there are various reviewers of our tax audit profession, starting with NAFRA, and then our QRB. These are the outside agencies. Then our PRB, Peer Review Board. Then we have got FRRB, Financial Reporting Review Board. And there is a new board, which is Taxation Audit Quality Review Board. And I am currently the chairman of this Taxation Audit Quality Review Board also. So what does this board do? This board reviews the work of the tax audit done by chartered accountants. And in case there is any misreporting or there is a gross negligence, then it has a power to refer it to the disciplinary committee also. And in normal cases, what it does, it gives an advisory. So the ultimate purpose is to improve the audit quality of the tax audit. And friends, just to share, recently we had one-on-one meeting with the CBDT chairman, and they're also representing the TAQRB. We represented that in case the income tax officers find any misreporting or gross negligence by the auditors in the tax audit, then they should refer that to the TAQRB of ICI. And that was very readily accepted. That was very readily accepted by the CBDT chairman, and they said that we'll be informing this to all officers so that if they find anything that the tax audit there is an issue, they can refer to TAQRB. What do you feel that this what we represented to the CBDT and their response, is it fine or is it not fine? क्या ये सही है कि नहीं है? Pranjal ji, of course, I'll be talking about 44AB A to E. And Vijay ji appreciates that, yes, nice step taken, great. It's fine, manager. Durga ji's question is one PAN having two, one PAN is having two proprietorship concerns. How to file? You know, always merge it and file one. You just think of what does a bank do? SBI, PNB, what do? They have so many branches. So they merge one. All branches are audited by different auditors. They all merge it and file one. Though audits are done by different chartered accountants of the branches. And then it is merged and a single auditor uploads that. So same way it is to be done out here. Single, right? You know, why we did this also? Because we want to make this tax audit relevant to all stakeholders. Otherwise, they have been thinking that the quality of the tax audit is not that good. So why not remove it? And the reason maybe extensions other than what we are seeking, and the quality, few of them, they have been talking about that it is not a good quality. So they say that इसकी जरूरत ही क्या है टैक्स ऑडिट की, जब इसमें कुछ है ही नहीं, गलत रिपोर्टिंग करते हैं और ऑडिटर्स के पास टाइम नहीं है, एक्सटेंशन मांगते हैं. तो हमने उनको ये कहा कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. अगर आपको लगता है कि ऑडिट क्वालिटी में कोई इशू है, इसीलिए इंस्टीट्यूट ने भी इस बार एक्सटेंशन की बात नहीं की, और हमने इंस्टीट्यूट ने उल्टा हमारे बोर्ड ने कहा कि अगर आपको लगता है कि टैक्स ऑडिट में कोई क्वालिटी इशू है, हमको बताइए ना, हम एक्शन लेते हैं. So giving them the confidence that no, chartered accountants are doing a good job. And if you are saying that that the job is not good, kindly refer those cases to us. कोई cases तो बताइए ना, हमको उनको कह तो सके, आप बताइए, आप कह रहे ठीक नहीं है, बताइए ना कौन से cases सही नहीं है. So this is the time, right, so that we need to maintain and improve our tax audit quality. You know, not only tax audit quality, other audits quality also, but yes, tax audit quality I will be discussing about. So going further, what is the legislation for assessment year 2021-22? You know, we are talking time and again कि मैंने audit किया section 44 AD में, 44 ADA में. Please see, जब हम ये वाली tax audit की बात करते हैं, तो ये वाला audit सिर्फ होता है under section 44 AB, nowhere else. Whenever in doubt, you have to just refer section 44 AB, nothing else. And once the 5 clauses of this makes the tax audit applicable, then you have to go for the rule 6G, and then the forms provided in the audit report format 3CA or 3CB, and the particulars thereon 3CD, and if not complied with, then the penalty under section 271. तो जब कभी ये डाउट आता ना टैक्स ऑडिट होना है कि नहीं होना, सिर्फ आपने 44 AB को देखना है और कुछ देखना ही नहीं. 5 clauses as rightly asked, A, B, C, D, E. In case your assessee is having a business income whose sales turnover or gross profit exceed 1 crore, पिछले साल 5 crore था, अब 10 crore है for assessment year 21-22, then audit would be under section 44 ABA. In case the assessee is having a profession, is doing profession, and its gross receipt exceeds 50 lakhs, then audit would be under section 44 ABB. In case the assessee is having a business income and of the nature of any section under section 44 AE, double B or triple B, and the income is declared less than the deemed profits, then the audit would be under section 44 ABC. 44 A is for goods transport vehicle. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि मान लीजिए आपके किसी क्लाइंट के पास, किसी एसएससी के पास 10 से नीचे गुड्स कैरेज व्हीकल है और वो अपना डीम्ड प्रॉफिट नहीं दिखाता, then in that case there is no option but for him to get the tax audit done under section 44 ABC. Mandatory, right? In case the assessee is covered under 44 ADA, and in that case he is not declaring the deemed profit to be 50% and more, in that case, if his total income is exceeding the maximum amount not chargeable to tax, then the audit would be under due to section 44 ABD. And in case he is having a business income which is covered under 44 AD4 and the total income is exceeding the maximum amount not chargeable to tax, then the audit would be due to section 44 ABE. So if we see this clause A is for business, B is for profession, C, D, and E, all three are purely for presumptive incomes. And in these 3 clauses also, you see there is a difference. What difference? The difference is between clause C and D and E. In D and E, these 2 clauses, there are 2 conditions required. First, less than the deeming profit or 44 AD4. And second is that the total income should exceed the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. That is in case of individual and HEF 2,50,000. Agar 2.5 lakh exceed karega, and then the other condition is meeting, then only audit would be required under 44 AB D and E. But 44 AB C में ऐसा नहीं है. मान लीजिए आपका एक प्रोप्राइटरशिप है और उसका ट्रक्स का बिजनेस है, उसके 3 ट्रक्स हैं और वो डीम्ड से नीचे के प्रॉफिट दिखाता है और उसकी टोटल रिटर्न जो है which is 10,000 or a loss, then also audit would be required, which is not so in the case of 44 AD4 or 44 AB E or 44 AB D. So ये एक difference. And if you are covered under any of the, अभी हम ये 44 AD ADA को अभी एक बार दोबारा डिस्कस करेंगे, right? अगर I am covered under any of these 5 clauses, then I have to go for rule 6G, which talks about my reporting formats, 44, which talks about form 3CA and 3CB. So here, one of the initial questions, when is form 3CA required to be filed? When is 3CA required to be filed? परांजल जी कह रहे हैं कंपनीज, विजय जी कह रहे हैं ऑडिट अंडर एनी अदर लॉ. रिंकी जी, आई विल बी टेकिंग अप दिस क्वेश्चन लेटर ऑन. Durga Prasad ji, yes, the ratios what you said would be different, but would be not comparable. But when the scrutiny cases come, then you have to explain the same. Vijay saying audit under law example complete. Okay, let me ask another question. Say there is a private limited company. A private limited company incorporated, say, on 1st of February 2021, and its turnover up to March 21 was 50 crores. So there is a requirement for tax audit. So which form will you issue? Form 3CA or 3CB? A private limited company, turnover 50 crores, incorporated on 1st of February 2021, 31st March 21 audit, tax audit, 3CA or 3CB? प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी के केस में मनीष केडिया जी, श्याम जी कह रहे हैं 3CB. एनीवन एल्स? अंकुर केडिया जी 3CA. विजय टिबरवाल जी आल्सो 3CA. रिंकी टोडी जी भी कह रहे हैं 3CA. वसंत लाल पारिक सर 3CB. रंजल जी 3CA. So again we have a difference of opinion. प्रदीप जी कह रहे हैं बागड़ी जी 3CB. So again different views. Manish ji कह रहे हैं yes, audit not being done under companies act and 3CB. Very rightly, in March 21 it would be 3CB. Why? Because under the Companies Act 2013, if a company is incorporated on or after 1st January, then as per the Companies Act, the financial year is ending on 31st March next year. You see the definition of financial year out there. So under Companies Act, there is no audit, even though it is a private limited company. So when there is no audit under any other act, then 3CB is required. For March 21, because there is no audit under Companies Act. For March 22, whether it could be 3CA or 3CB, when the Companies Act, the financial year is ending as per the Companies Act in March 22. So there also tax audit is there. So 3CA or 3CB in March 22. March 22 में क्या होगा? 3CA या 3CB? पारक साहब को कहना है 3CA. अंकुर जी, सुभाष जी, रिंकी जी, श्याम जी, प्रदीप जी, सभी का कहना है 3CA. And of course, the correct answer is not 3CA but 3CB. अभी हमने कहा when the audit is required under any other law. For what? For what period? For which period? For that period for which you are filing the ITR. You are filing the ITR for 12 months. For March 22, the ITR you are filing for 12 months, but under the Companies Act, you are doing the audit for 14 months. For 14 months. So there is no audit under the Companies Act. As per statutory requirement, there is no, you cannot do. So for March 22, there would be 2 audits, one under the Companies Act for 14 months, one under the Income Tax Act for 12 months. Pranjal ji ka question is, does it mean that all companies in their first year will have 3CB? No, only if the company is incorporated on or after 1st January. If the companies are incorporated in April, May, June, of course, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 3CA. Great, right? Okay. One more small question out here. There is a limited liability partnership, right? Limited liability partnership, and it is required to have a tax audit. That limited liability partnership is 10 years old, but now the turnover is 20 crores this year. So there is a tax audit. So 3CA or 3CB? This is the question. 3CA or 3CB? Pranjalji Singh 3CA, Shiv Shankarji 3CB. Question Rinkichi is, there is a limited liability partnership which is required to have the tax audit. So will you issue 3CA or 3CB? Rinkiji saying 3CB, Mayurji saying 3CA. Yeah, the answer is Manisha ji ka कहना है, if accounts are audited under LLP Act, then 3CA. Manisha ji, the client is coming to you, so you won't ask to him, क्या accounts आपके audit होने क्या LLP में? मतलब auditor आप हो या कोई और है? आपको पता होना चाहिए ना कि LLP Act में audit होना है कि नहीं होना. Please understand, audit of any financial statements, no one else can do other than the practicing chartered accountant as of now. We have got this monopoly. No one else. Right? So, yes, in case, because my turnover is in NLP Act, it increases, it exceeds 40 lakhs, then I have to, 60 lakhs, then I have to get the audit done. So, LLP Act में audit हो रहा है, इसलिए 3CA. So, it is not merely companies. Audit under any other law. Societies Act में है registered, Societies Act में audit होता है, yes. Then 3CA. Now my next question out here, in the LLP Act you have to do the audit. So when you do the LLP Act audit, what is the format of the report which you will issue under the LLP Act? Format of audit report. Pranjal ji, audit report जब आप issue करेंगे LLP Act में, तो audit report तो issue तो करेंगे ना. LLP Act का तो audit करना है ना आपने. Format क्या होगा उसका? No, शंकर जी का कहना है no specific format, तो report तो issue करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना कि भाई मेरे अलावा कोई और audit नहीं कर सकता, पर मेरे को पता ही नहीं क्या करना है. हम कहते हैं कोई और नहीं करना चाहिए. No other professional, cost accountant, advocates, company secretary, only chartered accountants. But chartered accountant को पूछो audit report का, मुझे तो पता नहीं कौन सी format. Who will tell? They will prescribe the format. सर पिछले 7 सालों से क्या कर रहे हैं अपन? 2008 से है 3CD फॉर्मेट, 3CA फॉर्मेट. सर प्रंजल जी, वो इनकम टैक्स का है. वी शुड नॉट मिक्स द वेरियस एक्ट्स. हम जब इनकम टैक्स एक्ट की बात करें तो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के फॉर्मेट, कंपनीज एक्ट की बात करें तो कंपनीज एक्ट की चीजें चलती हैं, एलएलपी की बात करेंगे तो एलएलपी की. वी कैन नॉट मिक्स ऑल द थ्री. एंड यस विजय जी, व्हाट यू आर सेइंग राइट. प्रंजल जी, आपने लास्ट में एक लिखा है वो SA 700, कंपनीज एक्ट के अंदर भी कोई फॉर्मेट नहीं है प्लीज ऑडिट रिपोर्ट का. वहां पर भी जो फॉर्मेट होता है, व्हेन एवर वी हैव टू टॉक अबाउट ऑडिटिंग, इट इज स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग SA 700 सीरीज, SA 700, 705, 706, whatever is applicable, right? So already there. विजय जी का एक क्वेश्चन है, in if new company incorporate after 1st January, then no audit under Companies Act, but compulsory ITR filing is required because that is Income Tax Act. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट कहता है मेरे को तो 31 मार्च का एक दिन का जन्मा हुआ भी कोई एंटिटी है उसका भी आईटीआर चाहिए. They are not concerned with whether you have an income or not. For partnership firm and companies, ITR is mandatory. But compulsory ITR filing is there. Yes. Sir, ITR 6 है कंपनी के लिए तो है, उसी में भरना पड़ेगा. Audited है कि unaudited, hardly matters. In ITR, there is no requirement to upload the income, the audited financial statement. It is only under the tax audit you have to upload, but you have to prepare the financial statement, so prepare it, right? Sujit ji ka bhi ek question hai. A firm charges depreciation account as per Income Tax Act. The amount of amortization of leasehold land is also debited under that depreciation. How can we show the form 3CD? First of all, when we talk about amortization of the leasehold land, that is not a depreciation. So your accounting thereof itself is incorrect. So that should not go into depreciation head. And please see, when you talk about 3CD, there is clause 18 where you show the depreciation chart, and then you say it is true and correct. So leasehold lands are not covered under section 32. So amortization thereof is not covered under section 32. Right? So it will not be shown under the depreciation chart. Okay, great. So yes, we have understood what do we practically mean. Theoretically, everyone knew that where a person is required to get his accounts audited under any other law, and we have discussed with the examples that what do we mean by any other law, and in other cases 3CB. 3CD is particulars for 3CA as well as 3CB. And in case you don't comply with the provision section 44AB, then in that case the penalty is 0.5%, maximum 1.5 lakhs. Now let us go and have certain questions to understand the concepts of 44ADA and 44AD. Right? 44AD, 44ADA, 44AB. Let us try and understand with a few examples. First question. Mr. A, he started manufacturing. And in the first year itself, where his turnover was all in cash of 150 lakhs, net profit is 8 lakhs, total income is 8.5 lakhs. So his profit is less than 8%. So my question, can Mr. A, for this manufacturing activity, where his profit is less than 8%, can he avail of section 44AD? Can he avail of section 44AD? श्याम कुमार पटवारी जी कह रहे हैं नो. Anyone else? Mehul Chaudhary ji भी कह रहे हैं नो. Okay, in this case, whether there will be tax audit or not under 44AB, tax audit होगा कि नहीं होगा? सुमित नागरा जी कहना yes, मेहुल चौधरी जी भी कहना yes, सुभाष सवाईका कब जी कहना yes. Yes, you all are correct. 44AD no, because my profit percentage is less than 8%, and manufacturing is not an issue. Manufacturing में allowed होता है. And 44AB yes, because my turnover is exceeding 1 crore. These are the reasons. Second question, Miss B, she's a doctor, so a professional. So being a doctor, she's also doing trading. She's selling medicines. She has taken the GST number. From her selling of medicine business, where the turnover, which is all in cash, is 90 lakhs. The net profit thereof is 10 lakhs, which is more than 8%. And for the professional fee, where she is receiving 45 lakhs, where the net profit again is more than 50%, 25 lakhs. Total return is 32 lakhs. So first question, can this lady doctor, for her trading activity, avail of section 44AD, where the profit is more than 8%? Can she avail of 44AD? Shyam ji ka कहना है yes, Manish ji का कहना है no, मेहुल चौधरी जी का कहना है yes, विजय जी का भी कहना है yes. So Kedia ji is odd one out, right? Second question, can this lady, for her professional fee, where the profit is more than 50%, can she claim 44ADA? Can she claim 44ADA? मेरू चौधरी जी का कहना है नो। शिव शंकर शॉ जी का भी कहना है नो। प्रंजल जी का भी कहना है नो। Okay. Okay. From her trading activity, her Vijay ji can I yes. From her trading activity, she had a turnover of 90 lakhs. From professional income, she had 45 lakhs. So aggregate exceeds 1 crore. So in this case, whether tax audit would be required under 44AB? Whether tax audit would be required under 44AB? Vijay ji can I no. Vishwajit, Mayur ji, super can I no. Pranjal ji ka bhi कहना है no, Banerjee ji ka. Let us see the answers with the reasons. 44 AD no, 44 ADA yes, 44 AB no. And why? 44 AD no, because section 44 AD itself says that in case a person is having a professional income, the whole section is not applicable to it. So that person cannot avail of 44 AD. 44 ADA, yes, there is no restriction in section 44 ADA. So she can avail of 44 ADA. 44 AB, no, because of course she is not being covered under any of the clauses A, B, C, D, E. किसी में फॉलो करती नहीं है, करेगी तभी तो ऑडिट होगा. बिजनेस की टर्नओवर 1 करोड़ क्रॉस कर रही है, नहीं. प्रोफेशन की कर रही है 50 लाख, नो. सी डी ई तो होता ही नहीं है इसमें. Right? Third question. Miss C, she started her trading. Say in the jute bags, she started trading. In the first year itself, her turnover was 80 lakhs, but she could not earn enough profit. So profit was 4 lakhs, which is less than 8%. Return, total income, she filed for 3 lakhs. So in this case, the first question goes, can Miss C for this trading business with the profit is less than 8%, can she avail of 44 AD? No. Pranjal ji, Mayur ji says no. Second question. In this case, is she liable to get the tax audit done under section 44 AB? Mayur ji का कहना है yes. Pranjal ji का भी कहना है yes. Sumit Nata ji का भी कहना है yes. अंकुर केडिया जी का भी कहना है yes. और जो मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है, यही क्वेश्चन प्रमोद देलिया जी का भी है. सभी का कहना है yes. Let us see the answers. Answers 44 AD no, 44 AB no. Why? AD no, because of course profit is less than 8%. AB, I have to be falling under any of these clauses only तब तो audit ना. पांचों में से किसी एक क्लॉज में आऊंगा तभी तो ऑडिट होगा, अदरवाइज तो नहीं होगा. सो ए बी सी डी ई. ए में 1 करोड़ क्रॉस कर रहा है, नो. प्रोफेशन है, नहीं. 44 ए है, नहीं. प्रोफेशन वाला 44 एडी है, नहीं. ई का क्वेश्चन आता है. ई के अंदर 2 कंडीशन अभी हमने पिछली स्लाइड में देखा. पहली कंडीशन 44 AD4 में आना चाहिए. फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड इज उसका टोटल इनकम शुड बी मोर देन 2.5 lakhs. ये कंडीशन मीट आउट हो रही है, 2.5 लाख को क्रॉस कर रही है. बट क्या ये 44 AD4 में कवर्ड है? Now, what does 44 AD4 says? 44 AD4 says that in case you were ever availed of 44 AD in earlier year, and then you have not availed in any of the next 5 years, then audit would be required for the next 5 years. So the first condition for the applicability of 44 AD4 is that you must have availed of 44 AD earlier. I have not availed. I'm not availed. And this change is there from assessment year 2017-18. I am not availed, not required. Not required. You cannot do the tax audit. It is not under any of the clauses. So not required. Right? Last question in this series. Mr. D, he is doing manufacturing, say manufacturing of jute bags itself. And the turnover is 95 lakhs. Also, he earns commission from this jute bags, which is of 6 lakhs. Net profit is 15 lakhs, which is more than 8%. Total income is 14 lakhs. So first question goes, can Mr. D, for this manufacturing activity, where the profit is more than 8%, can he avail of 44AD? No. Vijay ji ka immediately no. Mayur ji ka bhi no. क्या इस केस के अंदर टैक्स ऑडिट होगा? Whether in this case, Mr. D would be required to get his books audited? Mayur ji ka कहना no. Let us see the answers. 44 AD no, but 44 AB yes. AD no, because as said that a person who is having a commission income, that person is not allowed to avail of 44 AD. Right? AB yes, because my gross receipts 95 plus 6 as exceeding 1 crore na. तो 44 ABA अट्रैक्ट हो गया. मेरे को सिर्फ ये 5 क्लॉजेस देखनी है ABCD, इसमें से तो कहीं नहीं फंसता. अगर फंसता हूं तो ऑडिट, अगर नहीं है तो नहीं. Now, Pranjal ji, if you say that audit is required, you have to tell me under which provision na 44 AB, A, B, C, D, E. किसी प्रोविजन में तो ऑडिट करोगे, किस में करोगे? We all are professional chartered accountants. Just take out your book, read the section, and check. Okay, audit बनता है तो इन पांचों में से किसी एक में बनेगा, और छठा कोई क्लॉज है ही नहीं. छठा कोई क्लॉज है ही नहीं. तो आपको उस सेक्शन को चेक करना है, right? Don't go on anyone's wording, even mine wording. Just check the section. 44 AB 5 clauses, simple, a very small section. उस सेक्शन के अंदर जो फर्दर सेक्शन रेफर्ड है उनको साथ साथ पढ़ लीजिए बस. राइट? अगर आपको लगता है बनता है तो उसके साथ चेक कीजिए. आई एम ऑलवेज रेडी टू आंसर. Pranjal ji, 44 ABE says that in case a person is covered under 44 AD4 and his total income is exceeding the maximum amount not chargeable to tax, then the audit is required. So two conditions. First, total income is exceeding the maximum not chargeable to tax, that is an individual and HUF of 2.5 lakhs. In partnership firm, even I would say 100 rupees. Right? So, first of all, total income, जो ITR की वो हो गया. Second is my 44 AD4 applicability. दोनों meet out होनी चाहिए. Now, what does 44 AD4 says? 44 AD4 says that in case the person has first availed of 44 AD, subsection 1 उसने avail किया, and then in any of the next 5 years he has not availed, तो कंडीशन है he must have first availed of 44 AD. मैंने तो फर्स्ट ईयर है, मैंने तो कभी 44 AD अवेल किया ही नहीं. Right? This was again your the question of Pramod ji, Pramod Delia ji. Turnover is 40 lakhs, profit is 3.5%. You know, unless I have not availed of 44 AD, I have never to see what is profit percentage. For एक बार 44 AD लिया तब मैं प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज पे जाऊं, उसके अलावा तो प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज पे जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. एक बार 44 AD लेंगे तब प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज को देखना, अदरवाइज नहीं देखना. राइट? चल, ग्रेट. Going further, just summarizing 44 AD essentials. that he should be an eligible assessee. That is, he has to be an individual HUF firm except LLP. Just saying because I still get various questions. सर मेरी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी है, क्लाइंट की 3.5% का प्रॉफिट है. मैं कहा भाई आपको परसेंटेज ऑफ प्रॉफिट तब देखना जब आपको 44 AD के कहीं एप्लीकेबल आपने किया हो, आपने कभी अवेल किया हो. कंपनी तो अवेल कर नहीं सकती 44 AD. So only applicable to individual HUF firm, and he has not taken the deductions under section 10A, 10AA, 10B, 10BA, chapter 6C and part C. So eligible assessee should be doing eligible business. So what is the eligible business? That is any business except 44 AE trucks wala. And his turnover should be less than 2 crore rupees. So you must be saying eligible assessee and doing eligible business. So कहाँ है इसके अंदर कमीशन प्रोफेशन जो प्रमोद जी भी बात कर रहे थे? For that you have to go to 4486, which says that the section itself is not applicable to a person. Section itself is not applicable to a person. Carrying on, profession under 44AA1, commission or brokerage, agency business. And in this case, he has to, if he availing 44AD, then he should be declaring profit 8% or 6% or more. Whatever is actual, as per the funds flow. As per the funds flow. It is not that suppose a person is into teaching business, he earns 1 crore rupees and he deposits that into bank and say, okay, 6%, all is by check, 6% I pay tax. All 94 lakhs, etc. is my tax-free capital. No, it is not that way, please. The section says whatever you say that shall be treated to be your income under the business. Right? Seminar. So, in this case, whatever is your funds flow, according to that, you have to declare income. And this 6% is not that merely you receive by checks. The payments you receive through banking channels should be received before the due date under section 139(1). If they are debtors which are pending for a year or more than 139(1), that would be covered under 8%, not 6%. Please take care. Tell the assessee according to this. Right? 44 ADA. Yes, it was earlier applicable to all assessees. Then in the budget 2021, the initial proposed, they told that it would be restricted on the same basis which is there for 44 AD. That is individual HUF and firm excluding LLP. But later they realized that profession cannot be done by HUF, so HUF is not allowed. So individual firm and LLP they have excluded. LLP they have excluded. Their LLP cannot avail of 44 ADA now. Why? They say because the reason which is given is that because LLP is required to maintain books of accounts as per the LLP Act. Okay, my one question. In case of a private limited company, whose books are maintained and are audited, can it avail of presumptive taxation? Can it avail of a presumptive taxation? Can not? No. Shiv Shankar ji, Vijay ji का कहना है no. मेहुल जी का भी कहना है no. आदेश जी का भी कहना है no. आदेश जी. But of course, the answer is yes. You just see ITR 6. Presumptive incomes. Section 44AE. A company having less than 10 trucks required to have a deemed income under 44AE. If not, then get the audit done, irrespective of the turnover. So a company which is required to maintain books of accounts and which are audited, it can go for presumptive taxation, but a LLP cannot go in the presumptive because it is, the reason is because they are liable to maintain books of accounts. So this thought process I could not understand. But yes, this is the law as of now. Rinki ji, your question again. In a partnership firm, turnover is less than 1 crore, profit is 20,000. Is audit mandatory? You tell me under which of the clauses of 44 AB, A, B, C, D, E, किस में लगता है आपको audit mandatory है? रिंकी जी आप बताइएगा, आपको लगता है ऑडिट मैंडेटरी? आप अगर लगता है तो ए बी सी डी ई देखिए ना किस में आता है, किसी क्लॉज में आएगा तभी तो ऑडिट होगा ना, किसी क्लॉज में नहीं आता, इसलिए नो ऑडिट रिक्वायर्ड। हाँ तो ऑडिट नहीं होगा ना, ऑडिट कहीं से घूम के नहीं आएगा, इट हैज टू बी एज पर द एक्ट सेक्शन। कोई बात नहीं, कंफ्यूजन होता है, बट वी आर ऑल चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ना, कीप द एक्ट टू टेल ना व्हिच प्रोविजन व्हिच सेक्शन, क्या इशू है? एक्चुअली दिस चेंज इज देयर फ्रॉम असेसमेंट ईयर 17-18। उससे पहले ऐसे ही होता था कि आपने 8% 6% नहीं दिखाया तो ऑडिट कर दो, बट द चेंज हैज बीन ब्रॉट फ्रॉम असेसमेंट 17-18। विजय जी आप जो कह रहे हैं, लेट मी रिपीट फॉर प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज आल्सो, in case they are having a truck business and that truck business they're having their own trucks, good carriage vehicle, less than 10 trucks, so they have to go for the deeming profits under section 44AE, even though their books are audited. And ITR 6 contains that in case of having less than 10 trucks, presumptive incomes can be has to be shown out there. If not, then audit is required, of course. Alok Joshi's question is there, whether an individual carrying in business of labor job work is eligible? Yes, he is eligible. Why not? 44AD is eligible. No restriction out there. Right. So 44ADA, yes, we have talked about this, should be engaged in profession. And please see, 44ADA, not merely if my TD is deducted under section 194J, mera to profession ho gaya. No, profession has to be as per 44AA1 rule, read with the rule 6F, nothing else. And in this case, gross receipt should be less than 50 lakhs and gross profit more than 50%, deemed profit more than 50% or more, and commensurate with the funds flow, you have to take care. Now, what is these profession which are specified under section 44AA1, read with the rule 6F? These are accountancy, and mind, the term is accountancy. It is not chartered accountant. It is not accountant. Chartered accountancy here would include chartered accountants, cost accountant, part-time accountants, whosoever is into the profession of accountancy. Architects, authorized representative, company secretary, engineers, film artists, actors, cameraman. There is a whole list of this. All notified. Nothing left to imagination. Interior decoration, legal, medical, technical consultancy, and information technology, IT, these websites, etc., what they make, whether they are qualified or not. But yes, this nature of services is important, not a degree. Not a degree. It is about the nature of services. Now, let us have a small overview of the profession. And when we talk about profession, we'll be talking about few sections: 44AA, we'll be talking about 44AB, talking about 44ADA, and then of course 194J. Now, practice ka TDS deduct hota hai. 44AA, if I talk about, this is about maintenance of books of accounts. And 44AA has got 5-6 subsections, but I will be talking about only subsection 1 and subsection 2, which is for the requirement of maintenance of books of accounts. No other provision under the Act provides for the maintenance of books of accounts other than the section 44AA, read with the rule 6F. So 44AA subsection 1, it specifically mentions that accountancy, medical, legal, or any other notified under subsection 44AA1, they are required to maintain books of accounts if their gross receipt is exceeding 1.5 lakhs. 1.5 lakhs. What are the books? Which is given in rule 6F for the profession, specified profession. They say cash book, ledger, journal in case of accrual system, and invoices, both incoming and outgoing, copies thereof. These are the books prescribed for profession. And for doctors, of course, they have got two more. One is the inventory, and second is the client register. Form de rakha. So that's why even if you are covered under 44 ADA, you are required to maintain your books of accounts if your gross receipt exceeds 1.5 lakhs. Interesting. So you say, okay, there is an exemption. So why to maintain? The exemption is that whatever you declare shall be deemed to be your profit under 44 ADA. So they will not question the ledger, your expenses, but you have to prove by your cash book and fund flow. That's why in the presumptive taxation they ask for inventory, debtors, creditors, and cash balance, not bank balance. So whatever expenses proves of funds flow ke through, you are required to maintain this. And subsection 2. Now, subsection 2 talks about both business as well as profession. And profession other than 44AA1. So जो profession यहाँ पे specified नहीं है, वो यहाँ पे covered है. So that's why we sometimes in a layman language or in a general way talk 44AA1 professionals to be specified professionals. And in subsection 2, the requirement to maintain books of accounts is, in case of individual HUF, my turnover exceeds 25 lakhs or my profit exceed 2.5 lakhs. And in case of others, turnover 10 lakhs, profit 1.2 lakhs. Then they have to maintain books of account. And this is the reason sometimes you get a notice that even though you had some simple commission income with a no account case you filed, you had a commission income of 3 lakhs. So it exceeded 2.5 lakhs. So you were required to maintain books of accounts. It cannot be a no account case. And if I talk about 44 ADA, it does not include this subsection 2. ये नहीं करता, सिर्फ 44AA1 को करता है. Only they can avail of 44 ADA. And we feel that in case my TDS is directly under 194J, it is profession. And even the department, certain persons at the CPC felt like this and they started making certain additions or notices started coming. But they forgot that 194J is not merely for profession, but it is for my fee for technical services, it is for my royalty, it is for my independent director fee, it is for my non-compete fee. सभी के लिए है ना, सब प्रोफेशन के लिए थोड़ी है. FTS के अंदर मेरा 2% है, बाकी सब के अंदर मेरा 10% है. But हैं सबके सब 194J. And when I talk about profession, what does 194J says? 194J says that TDS on profession at the rate of 10%. They have specified, again, given the names, or any specified under section 44AA1. Or any other specified under section 44AA1. So again, rule 6F, 194J applicable, plus anything notified under this section. So is there any profession which is notified under 194J, but not covered under 44AA1? Yes, there is sports persons. So sports persons TDS as professionals 194J, but they are not covered under subsection 1, but they are covered under subsection 2. So interesting. And 44AB for the profession, 44ABB, which talks about more than 50 lakhs, and any profession, subsection 1 or subsection 2, and D talks about if 44ADA less than 10 profession. So interesting provisions out there, right? Eligible SSC under subclause A of explanation does not include private limited, so cannot claim under 44AD. Of course, Alokji, you are very right. Only for them only. So all 44AA, 194J may not be applicable, but for all 194J, 44A is applicable except sportsmen. So a profession which is not under 44AA1, 44AA1 and 2, the both are there, Prinjalji. 44AA profession specified under subsection 1, non-specified under subsection 2. 194J talks about the given specified plus 44AA1. It does not talk about 44AA2. They might be covered under FTS. So a bit complicated. I would say, but interesting. I've stopped using the word complicated. A bit interesting, right? Yes, 44 ABA are new changes started from assessment year 1920. I would say 2021. Sorry, assessment year 2021, wherein they increased the limit from 1 to 5 crore and 21-22 5 to 10 crores. Again, the reasons to when we have been always saying ease, let us do the ease of doing business. हम कहते हैं बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेशन है, ईज करो. तो ईज किसका होना, हमारा नहीं होना. ईज तो बिजनेसमैन का होना है, वो उनका ईज हो रहा है. और हम फिर बार बार एक्सटेंशन के लिए जाते हैं, तो एक्सटेंशन के लिए कहते हैं हमसे काम नहीं हो रहा, वी आर ओवरबर्डन. तो उन्होंने कहा ठीक है, आपका काम क्यों करते हैं. सो प्लीज लेट अस स्टॉप टॉकिंग अबाउट एक्सटेंशंस. लेट अस नॉट टॉक अबाउट anything which is complicated. Let us take it, resolve it, and give our services. Right? So 1 crore, now 10 crore. And 10 crore when? 10 crore when? If the aggregate of all amounts received in cash do not exceed 5% of the set amount, and the aggregate of all payments made in cash do not exceed 5%. A simple example, suppose there is an assessee with 8 crore turnover. It could be individual, it could be private limited, it could be LLP, anyone. And its receipts cash portion is less than 5%. Payments cash portion is also less than 5%. In this case, his limit would be 10 crore. In case anyone say payment is more than 5%, then my limit comes back to 1 crore. So there is a feeling in the bureaucracy and the government that if it is through check, everything is fine, which may not be correct, but they have the feeling. So my question out here, in this case, that my turnover is less than 8, my turnover is 8 crore, my receipts is cash portion is less than 5%, payments cash portion is less than 5%. I'm not required to do the audit, still I can do it. Is it mandatory or optional? Can I still do it? Is it mandatory or optional? Optional. Shiv Shankar ji ka kehna optional. Any other view? Sir, company actually cannot do any profession per se. वो business ही रहता है उसका. उसका 10 crore की limit रहेगी. My question again, Pranjal, is that in case my receipts and payments both are less than 5%, turnover is 8 crore, though the limit is 10 crore, still can I do the audit? Is this 10 crore limit mandatory or optional? Audit बनता नहीं है पर फिर भी कर दूं क्या? कर सकता हूं क्या? Optional. Adesh Jain ji ka bhi kehna optional. Yes, optional. Everyone says optional. Mayur sir ka bhi kehna optional. Okay. Let me tell one thing. क्या किसी भी लॉ के अंदर ऐसा होता है कि ऑडिट करा लो, आपकी मर्जी है, करा लो नहीं कराओ आपकी मर्जी, ऑप्शनल? कभी नहीं होता. This, in the case of audit, it is never optional. It is always mandatory. Now just see when it is not covered under Income Tax Act, so there is no audit required under the Income Tax Act. So audit, if you do in such case, it would not be under Income Tax Act. Just see clause 8 when you choose of 3CD. You will be filling 44 ABA, and then in 3CB you will be saying it is true and correct. So who is risking his certificate of practice with the negligence that he doesn't know of the income tax law, for which only he can do the audit, and he doesn't know? And please see, just issuing a tax audit report with your negligence, his due date doesn't change. His due date remains 31st July. For the purpose of 43B, 40A, IA, 54, 54F, carry forward of losses, everything doesn't changes. There is nothing called optional under audit. It is mandatory always whenever there is there. Right? Ankur Taparaj's question is there 194J professional fees, but not profession as per the definition. Then what will be the audit turnover limit? You know, audit turnover limit, if it is a profession, then as per 44 ABB, 50 lakhs and more. But in the case of company, company per se cannot give his personal services as a profession. They would be doing it only as a business. I understand and agree that there is not enough clarity out there. There could be certain controversy over there, dispute over there. But you see 44 ADA, they specifically excluded the HUF because they wanted that it should be, because they said they cannot do the profession. A family cannot do a profession. So that way, the intention, of course, the company also, in my view, cannot do a profession. It can do only a business. Chali. Let us take a small question. 44 ABA, that in the case of proprietorship, he is a proprietor, small sole proprietor. His all payments are by banking channels. As regarding receipts, his sales is 6 crores, out of which only 20 lakhs is in cash. 6 crore ka 5% is 30 lakhs. Only 20 lakhs is in cash. Then proprietor introduces, he's sole proprietor, so he introduces capital of 25 lakhs, which is in cash. He requires certain money to run his business, so he takes loan from his brother by NEFT 50 lakhs. So with this detail, whether he is required to get his books audited or not. क्या 44 AB की requirement है या नहीं है tax audit की? रंजल जी का कहना है yes. शिवशंकर जी ने इसी के लिए नो कहा या किसी और के लिए? इसी के लिए यस. मयूर जी का भी कहना है यस. ये yes. Of course, the answer is yes, because I have to see the total receipts. 675 lakhs is the receipt, and cash portion is 45 lakhs. I have to prepare receipts and payments account, and out of which I have to see opening cash and bank balance. All receipts and capital introduction would be there. Drawings here, receipts here, drawings here, payments here, and closing cash and bank. Then it will match. right? I have to see receipt payments, not only sales, not merely sales. Now, there is an important amendment made as compared to the original proposed finance bill and when it became an act. And what a provision was added, a proviso was added. And what does the provisos in intention, the wordings are? That in case the assessee is receiving or making payments through checks or drafts, and in case those checks or drafts are not account paying, then they would be treated as cash. Non-account paying check drafts would be treated as cash. If you remember, we have been giving a disclaimer since 1984 per se. All those who are practicing since then, that in 40A3 SST, we have been saying that assessee, say 40A3, we have been saying that though we have not observed any payment to have been made by other than by account pay check or draft, yet the assessee did not possess the necessary document to evidence the same. We have been saying कि हमको पता नहीं है कि भाई एक्चुअली उसने कुछ अकाउंट पे इशू किया है कि नहीं किया, हमको नहीं पता, क्योंकि उसके पास डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं थे हमको बताने के लिए. तो जब हम वहां नहीं बता सकते थे तो यहाँ कैसे चेक करेंगे? एंड नाउ earlier also, but now also, it is the responsibility of the assessee to see whether the audit is required or not. It is not on the auditor. Assessee बोलेगा मेरा ऑडिट करो, मैं इस कंडीशन में आता हूं तब ऑडिट होगा, अदरवाइज नहीं होगा. अब यहां पर अगेन दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड, देयर आर टू थिंग्स, रिसिप्ट्स एंड पेमेंट्स, बोथ. So let us talk about receipts first, payments first. In case of payments, assessee can never say that he has doubt whether he has issued account pay checks or drafts or not, because the moment he says, there would be applicability of 40A3, 3A. उसको कहना ही पड़ेगा मैंने खुद इश्यू किया, assessee ने खुद इश्यू किया है तो अकाउंट पे ही तो किए होंगे. रिसिप्ट्स के अंदर ही कैन से कि मुझे नहीं पता, क्लाइंट ने बाहर के बाहर जमा करा दिया, अकाउंट पे था कि नहीं था, मेरे स्टाफ ने बाहर चेक लिए जमा करा दिया. However, in case of deposit of checks or drafts in a single day exceeding 2 lakh rupees from a single person, or an invoice exceeding 2 lakh rupees of a single person, he cannot say so, because due to applicability of section 216 ST, which also we are certifying in 3CD. So you have to say for less than 2 lakh rupees invoices and receipts. So please be very careful. If the assessee gives you in writing, and you take it as a disclaimer, as an observation for being covered under this 44 ABA, then only you can do audit, otherwise not. You know, we have been recently, I had few calls from my CA friends who said, sir, हमको तो पता ही नहीं था assessee ने गड़बड़ कर रखी है. क्या कहता है, वो तो ड्रॉर चेक बनाता था, बैंक से बात करता था, वहां नाम लिखवा देता था. मैं कहा फिर कैसे पता लगा? कहता है ऐसे पता लगा कि उसके AS26 में TDS आ गया 194N में. बैंक स्टेटमेंट से भी नहीं पता लगता, पर वहां पे क्लियर कट आ गया इतना अमाउंट कैश विड्रॉन. So now the systems are taking care. So you have to be very, very careful. Assessees have to be very, very careful. They should not take anything very, very leniently. Pranjal ji, related rule 6DD. Sir, rule 6DD में तो बहुत कम है ना. रूल 6DD की तो स्पेसिफाइड चीजें हैं, वो तो पेमेंट के लिए है, रिसिप्ट के लिए तो नहीं है ना. Right? So one has to be very careful. And the same information is required in the audit information. It is in the audit information. It is required. It talks about ITR 5, 3, 5, and 6. that whether assessee is declaring income only under this presumptive, you say no. Then whether during the year total turnover is between 1 to 10 crores, you say yes. Then questions talks about whether aggregate of all amount received, including sales, turnover, gross receipts, or total on capital account, capital contribution, loan, etc., does not exceed 5%. In both cases, you say yes, then no audit, otherwise audit is there. Right? Just a summary of all the presumptive incomes where you declare less than the presumptive incomes, deemed profits, where the audit is required. These 7 provisions normally covered: business, profession, goods carriage, shipping for non-resident, exploration of mineral oil by non-resident, aircraft by non-resident, turnkey power project by foreign company. In case of business, if availed of 44 AD and not availed in any of these 5 years, then for next 5 years, 44 AD 4-5 says, but audit is 44 ABE. For profession, no 5 years issue. Every year you have to see whether you are declaring 50% or more or not. If you are covered under presumptive income, then 44 AD 4 audit if it is less than 50%, and audit would be under 44 ABD. Goods carriage, again, less than deemed profit, audit कराना है आपने. No other condition to see. यहाँ पे maximum amount वाला भी है, maximum amount not chargeable to tax, maximum amount not chargeable to tax. यहाँ पर नहीं है बाकी. Then 44 AE7 and C is applicable. Shipping for non-resident allowed in year deeming से नीचे. Similarly for aircraft, आपको deemed profit दिखाना ही दिखाना, आपको उस पर tax देना ही देना. Right? So C is for 44A, double B and triple B. D is for ADA and E is for AD. Right? Let us summarize this 44 AD and business incomes audit, tax audit, dividing into 4 categories: less than 1 crore, 1 to 2 crore, 1 to 10 crore, 10 crore and above. If your assessee, any assessee, is having a business income, I'm talking only about business, not profession, above 10 crores, तो tax audit होना ही होना है. आपने कुछ और सोचना ही नहीं है. Cash portion, percentage portion, hardly matters. Hardly matters. But if your assessee's turnover is between 1 to 2 crore, then you have to see whether your assessee is an individual, HUF or partnership firm. And have they availed of section 44 AD? If yes, then you don't have to see receipts and payments. It can be 100% cash. Because you're declaring 8%, 6% or more. Then you don't have to see cash portion. But if these individual HF and partnership firm whose turnover are between 1 to 2 crores or between 1 to 10 crores, then these individual HUF, partnership firm, company, LLP, society, anyone, if it is between 1 to 10 crores, see the receipts and payments. If both are less than 5%, the limit is 10 crores. If any one of them is more than 5%, or both are more than 5%, the limit is 1 crore. So much simplified. So what about below 1 crore? Below 1 crore, I have to see for individual, HUF and partnership firm. And if they are ever availed of 44 AD and then not availing, then the audit is required. For example, say in assessment year 2021, turnover was say 40 lakhs and profit is say 10%. वो कहता है मेरे को 44 AD दे दो, आपने उसको दे दिया. No audit. 21-22, he says my turnover is 80 lakhs, but my profit is 2%. हम कहते हैं 44 AD ले लो, कहता ना मैं टैक्स नहीं दूंगा, नो 44 AD। हम कहते हैं अब आप ऑडिट में आ जाओ, ABE में 22-23 he says my turnover has exceeded, it is now 1.25 crore, profit margin is 20%, कहता 44 AD में जाना चाहता हूं, you कहता no you cannot go, audit कराओ 5 साल। This is 44 ABE 44 AD4। I hope it is a bit clear, right? Great. Chali. UDIN, of course, when you issue 3CA, then of course there would be 2 UDINs. One for the audit of the financial statements, and second is for your, that is one for 3CA, and one is for your audit of financial statements. But when you issue 3CB, then one, choose correct clause in clause 8 of 3CD, and it should be same with the UDIN income tax website, because they are all trying to synchronize the same. And of course, tax audit filing date is the date of acceptance by the taxpayer. It is not by the issue of the auditor, because he has to obtain from the tax auditor and submit it to the department. So the submission date would be when the assessee accepts it. Assessee accepts it, right? Now, this slide again is one of very, very important slides. And this could actually change a thought process. And one of the cruxes of my whole section 44AB. You know, because most of us and the stakeholders and other professionals believe that what is tax audit? 44 clauses. 3CD, हमको भी आता है इनकम टैक्स, हम भी रिप्रेजेंट होते हैं इनकम ITAT में, और एडवोकेट्स हैं, कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज हैं, कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट्स हैं, रिप्रेजेंट भी करते हैं टू CBDT। हमको भी तो इनकम टैक्स आता है, वी कैन आल्सो डू द टैक्स ऑडिट। व्हाई इट इज गिवन ओनली टू चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स? This question comes to the ICI also, and ICI every time has responded, and responded very strongly. And what is the basis thereof? Let us understand this. Out of these 44 clauses, there is one clause, clause 8, which says under which provision you are doing the audit. Kindly tell it. Under which provision? And we are issuing 2 reports, 3CB and 3CA. So whenever you are issuing 3CB, you have to choose any of these 5 clauses, clause A, B, C, D, E, nothing else, nothing else. And C, D, in clause C, of course, there are subsections, subclauses there, because it again contains 3 further, as we talked about 44 AE, 44 BB, and 44 BBB, right? But when we choose form 3CA, when we issue 3CA, though the audit is due to any of these 5 clauses, I would not say any of these 3 clauses, audit is due to this, but I am issuing the report in the 3rd proviso to section 44A. Always, always. Why? You know, what does section 44AB says? 44AB says that in case your assessee is covered in any of these 5 clauses, A, B, C, D, E, then what he has to do? They say he has to get his books audited, issue the report, and file the particulars. So, provision, first provision says of 44AB, first provision. They say in case it is covered under, though for 44AD, they says that the limit would be up to 2 crores. For first provision says if it is covered under 44 BB, then no, then the turnover limit would not be applicable, no tax audit, because deemed profit is there. If in case it is covered under 44 BBB. BBA, then it is not covered. Third proviso says that in case the books are audited under any other law, out of these three requirements, the books are audited under any other law, then it would be sufficient if this report and particulars are given under 3C. Then this report are given under 3C. This third proviso says, that's why I do the audit in third provision. So why it is said that in case the books are audited under any other law? Because 44AB talks about audit of books of accounts also. If it is done under any other law, where you give true and fair view, then it is fine. You don't need to do it again. But if the books of accounts are not audited, it is not given true and fair view under any other law, then do under Income Tax Act. Because they want to see that the auditors are auditing the financial statement. It is not merely 44 clauses, please. And for this books audited, you need to know about accounting standards and standards on auditing. And no other professional apart from chartered accountant is well versed or taught about accounting standards and standards on auditing. Standards on auditing, very, very important for us. This is the reason why no other professional can do the audit as of now. So it is our monopoly. And let us maintain it and keep improving our audit qualities, our auditors' qualities, I would say. Because हमारे को ये मोनोपोली मिली है, इसको हम इतना लाइटली ना लें. और ये ऑडिट हम कई बार सोचते हैं असेसी को हम लेके आते हैं. नहीं, हम असेसी को तब लेके आते हैं जब गवर्नमेंट हमको कहती है कि आप हमारे बिहाफ पे ऑडिट कीजिए. So we are doing for the auditor, for the government of the assessee. So doing on behalf of government of the assessee. So rendering services to both. Let us understand. When we are doing the audit, let us step aside from the shoes of the assessee and do the audit as an auditor. Otherwise, the audit which we are doing on behalf of the government, they will all go away. Any questions up to this point again? Any questions up to this point again? I don't think so. अभी कोई और क्वेश्चन है? चलिए. Great. Thank you, Pranjali. So let us go further. Certain things and questions, very, very simple ones. First, are the financial statements prepared on chartered accountants letterhead? क्या CA के letterhead पे balance sheets prepare हो सकती हैं? बैनर्जी, प्रंजल बैनर्जी का कहना है नो. विश्वजीत परियल जी का भी कहना है नो. ग्रेट. शिवशंकर जी का भी, दीपक जी का भी, सबका कहना है नो. ग्रेट. सुभाष जी का भी कहना है नो. वेरी राइटली सेड. No, it is not allowed. Because in somewhere I was delivering a lecture a few months ago. So just because I never kept this question, because I thought this is understood. But just in a discussion, I said it cannot be on the letter CA letterhead. So they were the whole fraternity there in that place were taken aback. They said, "Kya baat kar rahe ho? To se dete aane." So I was taken aback. No, it is not allowed. It is not allowed. So very rightly, everyone said very correctly, not allowed on CA's letterhead. Are accounting standards applicable to proprietorship partnerships? Are accounting standards applicable to proprietorships, partnerships? रिंकी जी का कहना नो, विश्वजीत जी का नो, विजया जी का कहना है यस. आदेश जी का भी कहना है यस. Not recommendatory but mandatory but recommendatory. Pranjal ji ka कहना. You see, so we have different views, and different views I always welcome. But here I would say there is a confusion. So let us clear. First of all, on the proprietors and partnership firm, on them the accounting standards are not mandatory. However, on the auditors, it is mandatory to see that they comply with the accounting standards. So by virtue of our ICI, on the auditors, when they are auditing the financial statements, it is mandatory to see that the assessees whom they are auditing have complied with the accounting standards. So in that way, it becomes mandatory on them. Right? It is mandatory. It is a very old discussion since 84. It was decided at that time per se, because at that time the tax audit started. So yes, accounting standards are mandatory on them. On the auditor to see that the assessees are complying with the accounting standards. So now the question is, are they complying with the accounting standards? Are they complying with the accounting standards? Are these proprietorships, partnerships complying with the accounting standards? Anji, waiting for your answers. So when some of us said it is not applicable or recommendatory, then I doubt that we ever see that they are complying with the accounting standards or not. So now we have come to a conclusion that it is mandatory. And of course, then we see that they are not complying with. So I may not even be qualifying my report that they are not complying with. So the whole risk again is purely and purely on the auditors, because only the auditor has to ensure that accounting standards are complied with. So when they are not sure whether they are to be complied with, how will they report that they are not complied with? Please take it seriously. Accounting standards are mandatory in the way which I told, and we have to ensure that they comply with, and if they don't comply, you have to just make a qualification thereof. A simple example I'll give in the case of proprietorship and partnership. AS10, property, plant and equipment, where we charge the depreciation, the assessee charge the depreciation, not as per AS10, that is over the useful life, but as per Income Tax Act. So it is a non-compliance of AS. Further, the disclosure also is not as per AS. That is the gross block, depreciation block, net block. It is not that way. It goes as per WTV. So assessee, not mandatory. So they may not comply. Auditor should qualify the report that the AS10 has not been complied with. So there could be whether various other AS also, like AS15 for gratuity provision, for actual valuation when it is more than 50 employees, or deferred tax AS22. So all these one has to see. Please take care, and when we are not doing, please start doing it. There has to be some difference between a non-chartered accountant or even a part-time accountant or a graduate who are maintaining books of accounts and preparing financial statements, and when we are doing the audit. So there has to be a difference between a chartered accountant and others. So we need to know about the actual law and see that these are implemented. Another question. Are notes to accounts prepared in case of audit of non-corporates? क्या notes to the accounts बनते हैं? Proprietorship में balance sheet, profit loss के साथ साथ notes to accounts बनते हैं क्या? Meeting में. Yes, रिंकी जी कहते हैं yes. रंजल जी भी कहते हैं yes. क्या लिखा जाता है उसमें कि the proprietor is maintaining books of accounts on accrual basis, fixed assets are stated at cost, inventories are valued at lower of cost and net realizable value, depreciation is as per fixed Income Tax Act. इसके अलावा भी कुछ लिखते हैं क्या? Proprietorship partnership में लिखते हैं डेफर्ड टैक्स की कैलकुलेशन नहीं, तो सारे एएस की जितनी भी कंप्लायंसेस है वो सब दिखानी है ना उसमें. And sometimes the question comes to me when the auditor says, sir, this is an issue. Should I mention that in the notes to the accounts? Who is preparing this notes to accounts, the management or the auditor? Who is required to prepare this notes to the accounts, management or the auditor? Balance sheet कौन prepare करता है, management or the auditor? Management. Management. Rinki ji, please understand. Balance sheet and profit loss are prepared by the management, and notes to accounts are forming part of the balance sheet and profit loss. So management prepares the notes to the accounts. It is the responsibility of the management to prepare the balance sheet, profit loss, and notes to the accounts. Right? So management prepare करता है notes. क्या notes के अंदर ये लिखा रहता है कि debtors, creditors, loans and advances are subject to confirmation? क्या ये लिखा रहता है बैलेंस शीट में, नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स के अंदर कि डेटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स, लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस आर सब्जेक्ट टू कंफर्मेशन? यस, अंकुर केडिया जी कहते हैं यस. प्रंजल जी कहते हैं नो, दिस इज ऑडिटर्स पार्ट. ऑडिटर लिखता है कि डेटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स एंड लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस आर सब्जेक्ट टू कंफर्मेशन. मैनेजमेंट नहीं लिखता. अदर्स व्यू? नो, नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स में लिखा जाता है क्या? श्याम सुंदर मोदी जी कहते हैं यस. रिंकी जी, क्या नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स में ये लिखा जाता है कि डेटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स एंड लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस आर सब्जेक्ट टू कंफर्मेशन? So majority says yes. So when this statement is given, Subhash Dogar ji keh rahe nahi. So in case this statement is given in the note to the accounts, रिंकी जी आप कह रहे हैं अगर बैलेंस शीट, प्रॉफिट लॉस मैनेजमेंट ही बना रहा है देन नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, तो उसके अलावा कोई और बना ही नहीं सकता. देयर इज नो ऑप्शन. ऑडिटर कैन नॉट प्रिपेयर बैलेंस शीट, profit loss and audit himself. Not allowed. Management always prepares. Actually they prepares. We might assist them in telling something, but actually they prepare it. It is their responsibility. Agreed ना? तो उसमें भी ये लिखा रहता है ना, sundry debtors, creditors, loans are subject to confirmation. So if that is written, so do you give a disclaimer, a qualified opinion, an adverse remark that the balance sheet is not true and fair? नो, व्हाई? मैनेजमेंट खुद कह रहा है मेरे को डेटर्स का पता नहीं, मेरे को क्रेडिटर्स का पता नहीं, मेरे को लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस का पता नहीं. और कहीं पे हमारे प्रंजल जी कह रहे हैं ये तो ऑडिटर खुद लिख देता है इन हिज ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट दैट एवरीथिंग इज सब्जेक्ट टू कंफर्मेशन, येट इट इज ट्रू एंड फेयर. व्हेन एवरीथिंग इज डाउटफुल देन हाउ इट कैन बी ट्रू एंड फेयर? प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड. मैनेजमेंट खुद कह रहा है कि सब कुछ अनकन्फर्म्ड है, पता नहीं 5 करोड़ के डेटर्स दिखा रखे हैं, 1 लाख के, 5 लाख के, आई डोंट नो. ऑडिटर आल्सो समटाइम्स सेज हमको भी नहीं पता कि कितने के हैं, क्या है, सब कुछ अनकन्फर्म्ड है, बट यस इट इज ट्रू एंड फेयर. सो व्हाट इज ट्रू एंड फेयर देन? सो when the management itself gives a negative statement in the notes to the accounts, the auditor will have to see whether it has to be a qualification or an adverse report. In fact, क्या होना चाहिए? Solution क्या है? Management has to be affirmative, positive. Management has to say in the note to accounts that the debtors, loans and advances are stated at the amount at which they are receivable. Creditors are stated at the amount at which they are payable. Then you do the audit procedures and see that what they have said is correct or not. Document in your audit working papers and then issue a report. Right? So important, give the quality in your audit. Even this tax audit, because again, tax audit is not merely these 44 clauses, as I said. Financial statements audit, also it is there, and very important part thereof, because I give true and fair view thereof. Are the previous year figures given into this? Are the previous year figures given in the case of proprietorships and partnerships? Are the previous year figures given in the proprietorships and partnerships? No. The question is it mandatory to give the previous year figures in the proprietorship and partnership? And the answer is yes. And from where it comes? Again, not on the proprietor and partner, but again on the auditor. Because again, our institute says framework, the institute had got certain frameworks. And as slowly the standards started, they started making the standards, and the framework, certain were converted into standards, but there are still certain frameworks left. One is for the auditing standards, how to prepare a standards, the framework thereof. Then another standard which is applicable for the preparation of financial statement is framework for presentation of financial statements. Even Schedule 3 is based upon that. So that framework of our institute says the previous year figures have to be given. So this is, what I'm telling you, these are the differences between a non-chartered accountant and a chartered accountant, and we have to specialize into these things to make that difference felt. Yes, previous year is mandatory, Panjalji. Again, on the auditor to see, होता क्या, अब मान लीजिए, या तो आप पिछले साल की फिगर्स उनको बोलो पिछले साल की फिगर्स देना चालू कर दें, और वो कहते हैं नहीं जी हमने तो नहीं देनी, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. What is the role of the auditor? Auditor has to write in his auditor's report that the assessee has not disclosed the previous year figure, which is not in compliance with the framework for the presentation of financial statement issued by ICI. Assessee को भी कोई issue नहीं है, income tax को भी issue नहीं है, auditor भी safe है. इतना ही तो करना है, क्या दिक्कत है, कीजिए ना. Our document is auditor's report. Whatever you want to say, we can let us say. And these disclaimers, these opinions, these observations will not harm the assessee under income tax, please. So let us not hesitate and give it. बताता हूं पुरंदर जी कहाँ आएंगे, अभी बताऊं. It is covered in my presentation. So level आपकी कौन सी है? Level 1, 2, 3, 4. अगर आप प्रोप्राइटरशिप पार्टनरशिप की बात कर रहे हैं, कंपनी से केस में एसएमसी एंड एसएमसी है, एसएमसी एंड नॉन एसएमसी, अदर देन नॉन एसएमसी है. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स AS1 is important. जो भी policies applicable है, significant accounting policies, you have to give that in the notes to the accounts. You have to give that in the notes to the accounts. Fine. AS applicability for non-corporates from 1st April 2021. So March 21 की बैलेंस शीट में भी जाने हैं. अब 4 लेवल हैं. Earlier there were 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. Now it is 4. Large is 1, medium is 2, small is 3, and micro is 4. 4 less than 10 crores, a new category created. Small up to 10 to 50 crores. पहले 1 crore था. Medium up to 250 crores. Majority of our clients could be covered up to medium or even the small one. Large one, of course, more than 250 crores. It is as good as non-SMC. And also I have to see the borrowing limits. So according to this, the AS applicability for non-corporates, if you see this chart, for companies, for non-companies, level 1, 2, 3, 4, non-SMC, SMC. SMC, you will see most of them are applicable, only certain partial as per Companies Act, the applicability is there. For non-companies, earlier 50 crores and above, you required to have, even for the non-companies, cash flow statement. But now that limit has increased to 250 crores. Another important, if you point C, is in relation to, you see, borrowing cost, all applicable. Related party. Earlier, related party was applicable to all 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2, I would say 1, 2, and 3, because more than 1 crore was applicable. Now, up to 50 crores, it is out. Above 50 crores still. And this AS18 is different. It is different from my 48-2B, please. Because in 48-2B, there is only payments. Here, even incomes, even closing balances, all have to be given in the notes of the accounts. Deferred taxes, level 4, below 10 crore. Only current tax to be provided, not the deferred tax. But जिसका audit हो रहा है 10 crore से ऊपर, current tax, deferred tax सब applicable है. Some of our members who are just doing the audit through, which comes through the accountants or advocates, please see that all these compliances are done and improve the audit the financial statements qualities. Because ultimately the responsibility is on the auditor. Right? Now coming कि ये हम जो बात कर रहे हैं disclaimers, opinions ये देने का है. If I talk about 3CA, which is where the audit is done under any other law, in that case it has got 3 paragraphs, out of which in para number 3 I give my observation qualification for 3CD. For 3CD. In 3CB, there are 5 paras. And in this case, I have to give my observation qualification at 2 places. 1, 3A for financial statements, true and fair view, 3B में देते हैं हम, which is 3B subject to 3A. तो जितने भी हमने अपने opinions की बात की, disclaimer की बात की, observations की बात की, previous year figures, AS10 non-compliance, सब 3A में देना. Balance sheet से related. और 3CD से related para 5 में. 3CD से related para 5 में. क्या हम SS 700 को यूज कर सकते हैं, करते हैं 3CA 3CB में? Do we use the SS 700 wording in 3CA and 3CB? प्रज्वल जी क्लियर हो गया ना कहां पे देना है? मैंने आपको दोनों बता दिया. क्या हम SS 700 को यूज करते हैं in 3CA and 3CB? नहीं करते. चलिए आपको बताऊं कि हमारा जो गाइडेंस नोट है ICI का, वो कहता है वी शुड यूज इट. नॉट मैंडेटरी बट वी शुड यूज इट. गाइडेंस नोट भी कहता है करना चाहिए, और मुझे ये लगता है करना चाहिए. SS 700 ये इंस्टीट्यूट की जितनी पब्लिकेशन ड्राइंग्स हैं, बहुत सोच समझ के इंटरनेशनली सब चेक करके तब बनती है. इट इज गुड फॉर ऑल स्टेक होल्डर एज वेल एज द प्रोफेशनल्स. आई एम जस्ट शोइंग यू कि क्या लिखना है, जो हमारा इंस्टीट्यूट बोलता है. I have amended it as per the tax audit requirement, taken again from SS 700 only. जो पैरा 3A में जाना है फॉर्म 3CB के, जहां पर हम बुक्स को ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू कह रहे हैं, हम वहां कहेंगे व्हाट इज द assessee responsibility. The assessee responsibility is for preparation and presentation of financial statements, and that these are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Assessing responsibility, the auditor is writing. Otherwise, तो पूरी responsibility उसके आ जाती है ना. हालांकि legally नहीं है, but again, if you see my next paragraph, tax auditor's responsibility, I am writing. The auditor is writing in his report. Our objective is to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement or not, whether due to fraud and error. This reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with essays will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. ये ऑडिटर अपने रिपोर्ट में लिख रहा है कि अगर मैंने अपने ऑडिट इन एसेज के हिसाब से किए और फिर कुछ रह गया, तो हो सकता है रह जाए. But if I'm not writing, then I'm giving, yes, no, it is true and fair. I'm giving an absolute assurance. But it has to be a reasonable assurance. And this is worldwide, I'm telling you. We are giving this in Companies Act. You may not have read it, but it is the fact. So why not mention, why not restrict my responsibility to a reasonable assurance? But of course, to conduct the audit as per ACEs. Conduct the audit as per ACEs. This is for me, this is for the auditors. Then all these wordings, I just adjusted, copied, pasted, and amended as per the tax audit requirement. Para 5 of 3CB and para 3 of 3CA. Assessee is responsible for preparation of particulars requirement under 44AB in Form 3CD. Assessee is responsible. My responsibility is for verifying this statement in Form 3CD, which is in accordance with the tax audit guidance note. So I'm stating what is the assessee responsibility, what is the auditor's responsibility. Why should I not use this when it is, I would say, recommendatory by ICI on us for the tax audit? They say we should do it. So why not do it when it is for my benefit? We have been giving it for several years, and various other professionals are doing it. You have to do it just once, ना? एक बार कर लो, आगे हो जाएगा. Audit report, we use SS 700, 701, like key audit matters, etc. 701 mandatory is only for listed entities, not for others. Not for others, it's not mandatory, but if you want to give, you can give. But of course, you can give out here, right? So, we have to certain decide कि हमने कब क्वालिफाई करना है, हमने कब डिस्क्लेमर देना है, कब एडवर्स देना है. And this is for all audits of financial statements. Whether it is proprietorship, partnership, companies, LLPs, societies, trusts, whatever it may be. And auditor's judgment is about pervasiveness of the matter. Pervasiveness means ki affecting overall financial statement. More than one item, many items. So I have to see whether it is material but not pervasive. It is material and pervasive. ये चार्ट हमने आर्टिकल शिप में जरूर देखा होगा. And in case the particulars and disclosures and evidence, everything is there, but financial statements are materially misstated. And the misstatement is material but not pervasive. एक आधी item गलत है. In that case, qualified, my financial statements are true and fair, subject to this, except for this. But if it is material and pervasive, कि मेरी एक item नहीं, मेरी 4-5-6 item effect कर रही है, material and pervasive, in that case, they do not represent true and fair view, adverse report. Qualified is subject to this, it is true and fair. Adverse is they do not represent true and fair. And if you are unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, yani there is no question of material misstatement, but you don't have evidence. For example, you are doing an audit of an entity and one of the small branch detail you did not have. So qualified opinion subject to this. But where you did not get the audit evidence, sufficient appropriate audit evidence for majority of the items. Suppose उनके आग लग गई, कंप्यूटर में कुछ हो गया, audit evidence रेट पड़ गई, ED लेके चला गया documents. then you say a disclaimer. We do not express an opinion. We don't know whether it is true and fair or not. It is not that always I have to give true and fair. See the facts. We have seen various reports at various board level where there are 100, say 30, 40 qualifications. And then after that, they say, subject to this, it is true and fair. डेटर का पता नहीं, क्रेडिटर का पता नहीं, लोन एडवांस का पता नहीं, लिटिगेशन का पता नहीं, इन्होंने प्रोविजन नहीं किया, इन्वेंटरी बहुत हाई है, कैश का गड़बड़ है, इतने केसेस चल रहे हैं, फिर भी एवरीथिंग इज ट्रू एंड फेयर. See whether it is pervasive or not. This is the role of an auditor, and we have to improve upon this. Right? And of course, my time is going to end. So coming on one of my last slides, इससे पहले कोई क्वेश्चन है तो देख लेता हूं, अगर आपने किया है तो. I have one basic question. Since 3CB or 3C are online forms, with first of all, 3CA, 3CB are not online forms. We have to give a hard copy of the report also. Point number one. So we issue a hard copy and then fill that into 3CA, 3CB also and put the details there on. Yes, hard copy we give, but do you give the downloaded one or hard copy which is there in the Excel or Word file? Downloaded, then it is not hard copy. It is that soft copy itself. So where are your disclaimers? Where are your disclaimers? So put that in case you don't have that sufficient space. Understood ना? चले ठीक है. Audit procedure very simple. आप कहेंगे प्रमोद audit के बारे में बोल रहा है और एक slide के अंदर समझाना चाह रहा है. Yes, in a short time, a very crisp one, of course. Have an appointment letter. In invariably every case, there was a case in DC where one financial statement was audited in case of a company, and the same year was audited by another auditor. And the another auditor, the second auditor, his financial statements are uploaded on the ROC. So when the case came to the DC, so it was asked to the first auditor, okay, you audited it. Yes. Where is the appointment letter? The koi appointment letter nahi. MRL, the koi MRL nahi. Audit procedures, wo to hai mere paas sare. The appointment letter is the basic. So without that, how can you do an audit? किसी ने कह दिया orally कुछ नहीं चलता. Have an appointment letter. Have an engagement letter. Have an engagement letter also for all audits, for all your engagements, whether it is ITR filing, whether it is GST return filing, whether it is your representation. Have an engagement letter. EL. If you see all the bigger companies, bigger MNCs, they don't give any assignment without EL. Have the understanding of the client. What are do their KYC, क्या है, क्या नहीं है, क्या business है, क्या activities है. Plan, have the materiality, risk assessment कीजिए, and then execute through the audit programs, the checklist, the standards on auditing, and then of course have the following representations, your management representation, certificates, whatever you want, any questions, what you say, and then of course report with your UDIN. But in my view, my audit procedure does not end here. There is another last step, which is your billing and collection. Please, we are focusing on all these things, but please also focus on this. Any work you do, please charge your fee appropriately. Have your collection in time. This only will lead our profession to grow, and you don't see what my other professional colleagues doing. Just look upon yourself. You try to improve yourself and don't think what my other colleague is doing. Let him be inspired by you. Right? And of course, this experts panel, a few of you might be knowing it. You can sign up here. It is all free of cost. So when you sign up, you will get an email where your email ID would be verified. You have to just click on that link and your email would be verified. Therein, after login, you can ask any question on any subject: GST, income tax, corporate laws, audit, international tax, FEMA, whatever, code of ethics of ICI. You can ask anything, and the answer will not only remain here, but it will come to your email ID also. You need not see again and again here. आपके email में answer आ जाएगा. And then existing questions or articles you can search here. Just type here and search. Articles, presentations, videos, notifications, category wise you can see. You want to search, just see income tax, go to articles, click on the income tax, you'll get only income tax articles. Nearly now, more than 32,000 answers have been given by around 120 experts throughout the country. If you are ready to answer free of cost and you are an expert, you can sign up as an expert per se. And then you can upload your presentations out too. But then you need to answer free of cost, take out your time to help there are not only chartered accountants, company secretaries, cost accountants, businessmen, students, all are out there, right? And this presentation I'll upload on this website. The free mobile app is there of the experts panel, as well as this Lonavat, this website. So you may download this free mobile and it contains all the updates since year 2007 and also contains ready to use charts. You can download it at any time. And thank you very much for giving me an time and opportunity for sharing my views. And in these times and the coming times, please stay safe, healthy and happy, and also remain positive at all times. And I'm available on various social medias. The Twitter also I'm available. You can, I try and post a few of my, most of my technical things which I want to share on the Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook. You can join me at any time. And again, thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my views out here. If you have any questions, all yours. I have finished, I suppose, on time. Thanks to all, thanks to each and every participant for being attentive, being asking questions, giving replies. That makes it great. Thank you, Pramod. हैं अभी थैंक यू श्याम जी, सुमित जी, प्रमोद जी, रिंकी जी, पंजल जी, एवरीवन. ये अभी हमारे कन्वीनर, डिप्टी कन्वीनर कहाँ गए? आर दे अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन?
Tarun bhaiya, kindly coordinate this. Unmute yourself, Tarun bhaiya. Tarun bhaiya, you are the co-host. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yes. Sorry. Now it is okay. Sorry, I was facing some technical issues. So, have we shared the question answers have been done? Sorry, I was not. Vivek? Is Vivek there?
Yeah, Tarun bhaiya, you can just see this question in the chat box.
Yeah, I can see there are some questions. It says.
नहीं क्वेश्चन सारे आंसर हो चुके हैं, साथ साथ ही करते गए।
अच्छा सर, ठीक है सर। So sir, आपका deliberation हो गया? Sorry, I was actually facing some technical issues, so I could not.
नहीं हो गया।
अच्छा सर, ठीक है। Thank you.
टाइम पे खत्म कर दिया सर, 4 से 6 का था। I finished dot on 6.
ठीक है। Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We will.
Tarun bhaiya, give a vote of thanks because he will be exiting. So
Okay.
and then we can ask Ayush Goel to continue.
Okay, Ayush ji has joined.
Yeah, in the meantime, you can give vote of thanks to him.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. My apologies. Actually, I was facing some technical issues. I could not completely follow, but I could see many slides because I was facing some issues on the voice part. But I could see that all the slides were there, and there were huge comments, I think, and there were so many questions that were getting asked, and I'm sure the participants have been really benefited from today's session. So on behalf of ACA Chartered Accountant Study Circle, sir, we from the bottom of our heart, we thank you for sparing your valuable time and coming on our platform and sharing your thoughts on this very important topic of income tax. Thank you so much, sir. And as a part of our vote of thanks, sir, we would like to present you one e-memento. I will just do the screen sharing.
Ayush ji, you are there.
हाँ भैया, I'm there.
Yes, I can see Ayush. Just a second.
Tarun bhaiya, please proceed.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to show the e-memento. Just a second.
अरे चलिए कोई नहीं, मेरे को बस कहीं निकलना था। थैंक यू। Thanks to all.
अच्छा, ठीक है। Sorry sir for this, but thank you so much.
नहीं, thank you everyone. Thank you
for the time, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. My apologies. Actually, there is some technical issue. But anyways, now we welcome our second speaker, our very own from Calcutta, Ayush Goel ji. Ayush ji, are you there? I can see your
Yes, yes,
video is not.
Wait.
Okay. Yes. Now it's visible. Thank you so much. Thank you. So Ayush ji, I will just do a formal introduction of Ayush ji. Just a second. CA Ayush Goel is a member of our institute, and he cleared his CA in the year 2012 with an All India rank of 39 and scoring highest in the paper of direct taxation. He has also scored All India rank of 14th in his PCC examination, and there also he was awarded with the best paper in taxation and has received several awards from the institute from time to time. Ayush ji, with your permission, I'm just skipping some part of your profile.
Sure, bhaiya.